Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the last episode of Tech Talk for 2023. I'm Cody from Wheaton, Illinois. Mr. Andy Fallman.
Wheaton.
Andy, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well.
Rounding out 2023, I got like the vintage gear on. This thing's
the
great.
OG Rice Dairy sweatshirt.
This thing's great. It's had a few battles, if you will.
I still got mine somewhere.
But speaking of Wheaton, you got the Spartan flag flying there. You picked up
news out of Wheaton, Illinois. Just picked up a 3-star recruit. Right next to pretty much right down the road from you.
Wheaton, yeah, he's from Wheaton. That quarterback. See how it goes.
National champs 2025, excuse me. You heard it here first.
Are we doing bets on that, or like what's going on? Is it like do I just get the field and like you get Michigan State?
Sure.
Done. All right.
Have whoever you want.
Hang on, I got to timestamp something here. So I get the field, you get Michigan State, national champs, straight up.
Straight up.
Did you hear the timestamp on that? Nice timestamp. All right. Done. Sweet.
I'm pumped.
Give me something to look forward to.
All right. Well,
that and charts. Come on. We're rounding this year out with some interesting charts. All spot, all the time, I think is what we're talking about here.
All spot charts to round out the end of the year.
And we're going to do them in order too, right? And so...
in order of how they trade.
So whey, cheese, butter, and then Nonfat. What do you think here?
Perfect.
What do you think? This is whey on a weekly basis.
Weekly whey, a little stagnant here. I mean, it really starts looking like it's starting to roll over here.
I was going to say, so I would agree, and it looks like it's maybe, what is this, a double top? Or not even a double top. It's a failure to make a new high, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's no Gouda, as I think Leslie Nielsen said.
It doesn't really show it on here, but the past couple sessions we've had between 1 to 0 trades for the past week and a half, and today I think we had 5.
Mm-hmm. Started to see some volume. I mean, we got up to 40 cents, and then just started to, like I said, failed to put in a new high. Right, and you're starting to see some of this other stuff, like the RSI didn't get into overbought territory, was awfully close. Look at how close that was. I mean, that is just like that's right there. But to see that roll over, that's another and momentum too. Let's go take a peek at that. So again, some of the stuff does trade technically. You can make that argument, right? And when I say stuff, I mean like the secondary indicators, and so this is kind of crudely drawn, but it seems like there was an uptrend that got broken here. So not only was the uptrend broken on the momentum, but you have a failure to put in a new high here too. So it sure feels like, I mean, how much does it roll over? I think you can make the argument it goes back kind of into this area, right? I don't think it's a tremendous move. We'll see. We're starting to see a lot more cheese trade hands too, right? What was today? Another 11 barrels, I think, traded. So if you see more cheese, we start to see maybe the more whey that's being produced is coming into the exchange as well. And so I don't know. This is an interesting one. Like I said, it's got like the ability here. It's trying to like roll over. To your point, do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think we trade 35 first, or do we trade 45 first?
I think based on this, I think we trade 35 first. 35, maybe a quick drip down to 30, 31, and then higher, probably to 45.
Promptly moving up. Okay, I would agree. I think we trade 35. We trade 40 before we trade 45.
I think we'll see some more violent moves, in whey. Even if you go back to what we saw in July, and even at the beginning of 2023, like those are some massive moves on a weekly chart right there.
That's a big. I mean, you think about it on a class 3 basis too. What every penny in whey is 6 cents in class 3. So going from 45 to 24, my math ain't that good. So 45 minus 24 is what? 21.
Mm-hmm.
So 21 times 6, let's do that math, 120, 126. So $1.26 in class 3 from here to here. Now, that's a big number, right? I mean, you don't have to move cheese at all. And you move your milk check, like Coster Dairy milk check, devalues by $1.26.
You move it.
That's not good.
No bueno.
So no bueno. Yeah, this looks like it wants to roll over. I would agree. Trades 35 before it trades 45. So not that far away from where we settled 38 today. You know what? Let's handicap it a little bit. Do you think it trades 32 since we already traded 38? Right? It would be easier to make that bet if we were at 40 cents. But since we're already at 30 cents, do you think it trades 32 before it trades 45?
Yes, I do.
All right. So, 32 before 45. I agree with that also. So I think we trade 32 before we trade 45 based on this chart. All right, cool. So next one. Oof.
Cheese.
Ugh.
Cheese.
What do you think?
So I was just going to ask you the same thing. So what I think, we're at $1.42 cheese after today for block and barrel average, right? We're not doing the block and the barrel cheese together. I believe we hit $1.40 before the end of this week, and I think we sit down at $1.35 for a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm. So we're at 142.
Because current cash, what do you have current cash? $14?
I have 14.20, but that's using December Whey.
Okay.
So that's using 41.35, which may be, according to what we just looked at, 41.35 may be a shade high. So maybe you're probably more, I guess if we're going to use like a 38-cent Whey, you got to knock off, what is that, 18, 20 cents? So yeah, more like $14.
I was going to say, on my platform, using spot, everything spot, I've got 14 on the dot.
14
current cash.
On the dot, $14. That's before any premiums. Checkout basis loaded if you want to learn more about premiums and all that stuff. And in the trading or the expiration, but yeah, I mean, you had this gap, and it's been painfully moving its way towards there. I guess the question is, I mean, so what's this high right here? That's 139. So we need to go trade like $1.39 to go fill that gap. It seems reasonable. I mean, it seems like it's certainly in the cards given the way the cash market's trading and the way the volume they're bringing. And I guess it's a question of like, do we see like a July, like one of these, right? Where we get down in that price level, maintain that price level for a few weeks, clear some stuff out, and then do we get a rally coming out of that?
I think we get a rally coming out of it. It just feels a little bit different this time. It feels like we're going to sit at $1.35, $1.40 for, I don't want to say weeks on end, but if you stay down there for 2, 3, 4 weeks and just kind of piddle around there, you're much more apt to get product moving. And if you look back at that same time frame that you have in July right there was a lot of weather that dictated heat stress.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. We had like record highs here.
Exactly. So I think there was a little bit different mindset, a little bit different market mentality back then. Now it just feels very different at this point.
Okay, fair enough. We were sweating back then. It was hot.
It was hot.
It was hot.
It was cold.
Well, I think we can agree that we're going to fill this gap, and then maybe but do we? I guess the other question is, do we go trade below this low, 132.5, or do we maintain that price? I gut feeling, I think we maintain that. I think we fail to put in a new low.
Wow. I mean,
just a gut feeling.
Okay, so lower than that is you're talking
like a sub.
March,
April, like a sub 130. You're talking about like a sub 130 barrel and a 133 type block.
Yeah.
That's just seems awfully low. I mean, we're definitely starting to see more bidders popping up in the barrel. Like we've just seen like the stacked bids, like 37 on 3, 38 on 2, 36 on 3, and then trading a bunch like around 140-ish, 139. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think we fill this gap, and we kind of have like one of these types of deals where it's like you have gap lower, maintain. This right here is an interesting. This is I believe this is a Harami. Bullish Harami, where you have a big red candle, a green candle that sits inside of it, right? This thing is totally within the range of the preceding candle, and then you gap higher out of that. That right there, I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, right? But I mean, this is a possibility too. This type of candle formation. I think we got to be really careful of that.
So let me ask you, if we go down to $1.32, even $1.35, do you think we do the same thing that we did back in June, July, where we rebound pretty fast, or do you think we sit down there for a little bit of time at that $1.35, $1.40-ish number?
I think we sit down there for longer than maybe what the market's anticipating. Futures have a pretty healthy premium baked into them up front, right? But I think we sit down there longer than maybe anticipated and then have a pretty aggressive pop out of it. If we were to just do a quick down up, I don't know if that's enough to really, maybe it is. Maybe it's enough to get exports going or something, some sort of new demand function that comes in. But I think the longer we sit down and stay down at this, let's say we get it below $1.40 on average and stay there. I think that's the type of stuff that we start to see a lot of volume get moved. And the more volume that we move at a lower price, I think the more abrupt we rally out of it. So I think that's what it's going to take to break this trend here. We've been trading along this trend since August, late August, early September. I think that's what we're ultimately going to see is kind of this like rounding pattern. And then you're going to get like a wicked candle that takes us out of it. We shall see. You're starting to see some of these other futures built in. Like I said, I mean, gosh, like Feb is at 160. We're about to go trade 140. So you've got premiums that are baked into it. Market's trying to tell us something. I don't know. Who knows? But next up on the docket, your favorite shining star here. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Yikes.
Talk about a whipsaw this year.
So I had somebody ask me this yesterday. Are we going to do this again? What do you think?
For that long a time?
That was
I don't think.
That was a
I don't think so.
big, heavy sigh.
Well, there's two things I was looking at. I was going to ask you. So where your cursor is right there. What do you do with two? What do you do with two gaps at about the same price at $3?
Two gaps, same price, $3. Great question. I think to me that just says that. I mean, look at this. Right over here too, right? The market does not like to be. The market doesn't like to sit still at $3. It's a price that's going to bring volatility. So I think you would have to be prepared for that. But here, I mean, this is a price where the market has been pretty content on sitting still. Normally, like if we have this huge break. This is 348, basically 350 down to what is basically 250, right? So you're talking about $1 break. And if all you see is kind of this, like, to use your parlance, pitter patter, like just the sideways trade, then usually that is an indication that you're going to get a continuation of the preceding move, which in this case would be lower. I think that's what we're going to see. And I don't think it's going to be a big, fall out of bed type move. I think what we're going to see is just us go trade back down around this, go test this low, right? Go back into all this. It's like 220. Yeah, 225.
Okay.
In that area, right? Because I think we need to go get back into this range here and see how this trades. And so we've been kind of bumping up against the upper end of this. I think what's going to happen is you're going to get sideways trade. That usually is like the bulls are. I mean, they can barely put up a fight after $1 break. That's not bullish. So then I think we just get back into all this noise. But I do think we go and test that low. I think that would be to me, it feels like it would be a big surprise to the marketplace too. Like we've had this big rally, it was corrected. Futures out forward are telling us we're going to be a 260 market, into perpetuity. It feels like, right? I mean, you go 257 out to like December. You have to look at December of 24 before you get below 250, right? But I think what we ultimately see is just a consolidation that leads to a continuation, and we go test this low. I think that would be a surprise to the market. Well, I'd ask if you're baking anything, but do you have an oven?
I mean, I have an oven. I just don't use it for baking or anything else, really.
You're not supporting the butter cause.
I'm always supporting the butter cause.
Do you use butter at home?
On the steaks.
You sear it in butter? Or do you put a butter top? Baste it. Ah. So you don't have multiple forks, but you are a baster of steaks.
Right. Just a general spoon out of the spoon drawer. The lucky contestant, pick it up. Away you go.
You always blow. Here's a lucky one. You're going to baste today.
There you go.
Oh, man. All right. Last one. Certainly not least.
Last but not least, non-fat.
We didn't touch a thing here, by the way. We haven't touched a thing.
Nope.
And I don't even remember what this was. Cody's test. What was that?
Was this three episodes ago when we were talking about non-fat?
I think so.
I think we were kind of testing that bottom of 105-ish area and then rallying from there. But I think you had said here pretty soon, if you have that, you still got that drawn, a breakout above 223.
Yeah. So I think what we originally said was this was
like an Elliott wave, right?
Correct.
Is what we were.
Correct. So if this is wave one, you would take this and lay it on top of wherever it breaks out from. And I think we said right here, and you'd add approximately 20%. Usually the third wave is the biggest and is usually 20, you take whatever the first wave is and multiply it by 1.2, 1.3. So I still think this is something to be mindful of. I don't think you can say this is failed until we get back down into a 110 type number. I think you have to totally retrace the first wave to say that that's not, I guess, relevant. And you really haven't. And you've only really retraced. What is this? 120, just call it 124, easy math, 115. So there's still, you've got about half of this move retraced, if that. Futures continue to point to no, this you want to buy. If you're a spot buyer, you should be buying in this break. I know you want to add a carry into the futures. I get that per month. But this is acting like it wants to. I think this is still in play. I think we just have to be really careful here.
So I agree. So we're both under the same premise that we could break out above $1.23.
Yes, I still think
maybe soon.
Correct. like if you just look at the price action, it's starting to kind of round itself out. So it's very slowly trying to retrace. This to me just looks like wave 2. And then the third one is going to take us coincidentally to this area of retracement, this like first like level, 33%. Yeah, this to me, it's still, what's that movie? Like from, I think Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
I still think it's there. So,
Okay.
Cody's test. We didn't move it. We haven't touched it. 2024 spot market's coming in hot. Look for a rounding in CME cheese. Getting there. Look for this Elliott wave to play out. Spot non-fat. Whey, I guess whey we think is going to 32 before it goes to trades 45. And then ipso facto, butter is, I don't know. I still feel like the big surprise this market would be if butter goes and trades 220. I think it gets bought with both hands, especially after what we saw this past year. But I think that would be a surprise.
So same kind of question on butter. Do you think we stay down there long enough for us to? You don't see it being a 7-month trend in butter like it was before.
I don't.
It'd be a quick trip.
I don't think so. I think it will. Gut feeling is we go test that price. I just think we like perk back up in like the 240s. And maybe we trade sideways around that level for a while. But to go trade like a 225, 220 on the exchange and maybe on the spot market, maybe futures maintain a premium to that wouldn't surprise me. I think it would be a surprise to the market to see the spot market trade that price. I think it ultimately gets bought with both hands. So, non-fat. This could get a little dicey here. I guess flip side, what if this fails? Then I guess your target is, it goes in
110.
Yes. So it gets back down to where it started to really break out from, which would be like 109, 110.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So look out. Elliott wave coming in hot.
Well, you know what? This is going to be our last episode for Tech Talk this year. We got, another week? And then we got into 2024. So new year, new non-fight.
New year, new you. Do you have a New Year's resolution, by the way?
I never do resolutions because they never pan out and I never keep them long enough. I just try to be a better person, 1% better every single day. Couldn't
like your New Year's resolution be that you actually keep a New Year's resolution?
But I just don't do resolutions, so they just don't work out. I just tell myself I'm going to be better every single day.
We could do like a paradox where it's like your New Year's resolution is to like fail at your New Year's resolutions, so that if you fail at them, then you've actually accomplished a New Year's resolution. How about that?
I'm going to try to be nicer to you and Jim Matthews next year. And you know what? Let's see if we can get past Jan 10. All right. I don't want to put my sights too high. I don't want to put them too low.
Fair enough.
And with that resolution, everybody, we appreciate you watching. Have a very Merry Christmas, happiest of holidays, an even better New Year. And we will see you in 2024.
I'm looking forward to you being nicer to me. Like that's great. I'm excited. Finger pistols, the whole thing.
Probably not going to work. I mean, like we're not even into January and I don't even know.